today on Divorce Court.
Today, what I would like the judge to do is actually just kind of talk some sense into Francine and try to help her understand that just because her friends and everybody around us is getting married, that we shouldn't just necessarily rush into that situation.
I want to get married, I want to have kids in that order, not just however it happens when it happens.
She's constantly accusing me of cheating. So in order for us to move forward and with some stability, she has to get over it and get past it.
I thought everything was great, and then he just cheated, and I found out about it, and it was a slap in the face.
We've come this far, and at this point, if it doesn't work, then we'll have to end the relationship.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Sandra Monroy and Cortes Rice. You two have been together for 2 years. You don't have any children together, although you each have a child from a previous relationship. Ms. Monroy, you did a fabulous thing. You've been together 2 years. You want out now because if he doesn't put a ring on it, you want to roll. Why don't you tell me about it?
Well, as you said, we've been together for 2 years. We want kids. I want to get married first. I already have a baby daddy. I don't need another one. I would like to be a wife. I would like a husband, a family, traditional. My parents were married before they had me, and it's just, that's what I believe in, and I'm sticking to it. I mean, I already made that mistake once. I don't want to do it again.
I want to copy you and pass you around about, that is the thought in my head. Now, Mr. Rice, I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond. You already know where I stand on this issue, but I'm going to give you a chance to change my mind. What do you want to do?
So, absolutely, Your Honor, I'm all for marriage. However, I believe in having a kid first before we actually get married.
Now break that down for me.
Well, I don't want to just jump into a marriage not knowing whether or not we can have children. Having children is very important to me, and a marriage is a lifelong commitment. So I don't want to be tied into a lifelong commitment and have to stray or do something else because we cannot have children. So just
why do you believe you can't have children since you both already have children?
Well, my child is 10 years old. Hers is right around 6. So just between just the time in between and the birth control and contraceptive, just want to make sure that
Have you ever visited a doctor? They're really good people. You go in there, you talk to them about birth control that she's used and age. She's 28 years old. It's not like she's 45. Why such a concern?
I know I have done some research on the birth control type stuff. I know sometimes there are some issues that kind of deter from being able to have children later on. So just a precautionary measure, so to speak.
What do your people say about that? You got a mom, a sister, somebody? Has anybody spoken to you about that at all?
Absolutely, and I've actually had, relatives that gotten into marriages where they couldn't have kids after, and it just totally dismantled the marriage. The primary reason she initially came with the whole marriage idea was because a lot of her friends are starting to get married and things are starting to happen on social media and that stuff.
So you think she has wedding fever?
Absolutely. And along with that, just to kind of make sure I can't bring a child into an unstable environment, and I just think that we have a few things we need to work out before going into marriage, as well as bringing a child.
What is your major concern about your situation that you would like to work out before you jumped into a marriage?
She tends to have a few insecurities.
For a good reason.
I would never say it's a good reason to be insecure. I think you should always have utmost confidence in yourself and your ability.
Mr. Rice, let me ask you this. Have you done anything that will cause her to be insecure?
I haven't done anything.
He cheated, Your Honor.
Hang on just a second. Let's get his story first. Mr. Rice?
So I haven't done anything. What she's referring to is some pictures that she found that were before we were even in existence. So
what were the pictures of? Be gentle.
Me and another female, so just to kind of.
But y'all weren't holding hands. Something else was going on.
Exactly.
It was
doing adult
clearly
things.
a sexual thing. Ms. Monroy, do you believe that picture was indeed something that happened before you two were together?
No. The furniture was after we had been together, so it's.
Oh, so
There's
you
no
saw the
denying it.
furniture on which the deed was taking place,
Yeah.
and you know that furniture was bought after the two of you got together, Mr. Rice?
No, that's not accurate. On my camera, every time it dies, the battery dies, and you replace it with new batteries, the date goes back to the manufacturing date. So whatever date.
She
so
didn't
that's-
say date. She said she recognized the furniture.
It's a black couch, it's black couch. I had a black couch before, I got a new one. So it's a black couch and a black
Oh,
couch.
Mr. Rice, yeah.
I mean-
Johnny Cochran couldn't help you with that. I understand there are other things that have caused you concerns about his cheating or the potential for cheating. Why don't you tell me what other things you're worried about?
As you can see, I'm brunette. I find blonde hairs at home all the time. His
Your Honor,
ex,
when we first
his
met-
ex
Hang
is
on,
blonde.
let her finish.
His ex is blonde, so it's like I'm kind of seeing a pattern here, you know? He'll try and tell you that they're mine. I was blonde like 2 years ago. There's no way there's still hairs from 2 years ago now.
Mr. Rice, can you explain the blonde hairs?
Absolutely. So as she said, she was blonde when we first met. So a lot of things, her hair shed like crazy. So they're in the car, they're in sweaters, everything. They're everywhere. They just
Y'all don't vacuum? You don't clean up the house?
We
I mean,
vacuum.
2 years.
Right.
Is a long time.
We vacuum, clean, wash, cleaners, all of that. But they just
But
keep
the
seem
hairs
popping up.
just keep popping
They
up.
just keep popping up, and it's I don't know where they're coming from either, so I'm starting to think she's planning them there. So I
right.
just have to kind of, I kind of have to shrug it off or let it roll off the shoulders for the most part, because.
Do you have any, although you've got some pretty good evidence already, anything else that he engages in that causes you to believe he's cheating on you?
He's super secretive with his phone. First of all, he's always on the phone, but if I'm at work and I text him, it takes hours to get a response. And then anytime I get near it, I can't touch it. He won't leave me alone in the room with it. If he goes to the bathroom, he takes it with him.
not true, Your Honor.
I've seen him like ask other girls like incriminating like text messages, DMs, hey, send me pic, let's link. And it's like, what do you think is going to come of that?
Now, Mr. Rice, are you secretive with the phone?
I'm not secretive with my phone. However, it is my property, so I do hold my property with me. I
got a phone too, but I don't run to the bathroom with it.
Neither do I. However, if I'm going to be in there for some time, I like to play a little music.
Far more information that I needed. My bad.
Absolutely.
My bad.
Absolutely.
We're going to move forward.
I'm out working all day, you're at home doing nothing, and then I come home, cook, clean. I have to clean before I cook because I can't cook in a dirty
I'm not
kitchen.
just sitting at home on the couch, no food. I run.
Well, you obviously eating some food because you've gained 20 pounds. Do you have any food for her?
Well.
Now, Mr. Rice, I'm going to ask you to explain the DMs, not because I think you're going to tell me something I'm going to believe, but I do love your stories. They're imaginative. Explain to me what she's missing about the direct messages.
So basically what happened is she had one of her friends, which is a major problem in our relationship. Her friends are always in our business. Mm-hmm. And one of her friends actually texted me, trying to solicit a hangout, hook up, or whatever else. So, me being as smart as I am and as intelligent as I am, I picked up on it. But I played along with it just to kind of figure out who it was. So her friend actually broke down at the end because I chopped her down and told me, hey, I'm sorry. I just wanted to look out for my friend. And that's the kind of stuff I shouldn't have to worry about on a daily basis.
So you're saying that her friend was acting on her behalf, seeing if she could lure you into a cheat, but you were so smart, you caught on to it right away, but you played along with it just to play her.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Ms. Monroy, why don't you tell me, are there any other things that concern you that make him seem like a cheater? Not that you haven't had plenty of evidence already. Anything else you need to add?
No, but I didn't set that up.
You didn't set
I
that
actually
up?
found out about it from him. I didn't set that up. That was just from day one. My friends have always said, like, no, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. Like, yeah, he's a good guy. He's great with your daughter. You know, you guys are happy. But there's something off. There's something off. So, I mean, lo and behold, they were right, apparently.
That's the problem, the bad friends.
Well, let's move on to another topic. I understand that Mr. Rice is unemployed at this time. Tell me how long he's been unemployed and what kind of difficulty that's causing in your relationship.
It's been about 6 months, Your Honor. I mean, it's definitely difficult. At first, it wasn't. I thought, in his line of work, he'd be able to just, like, bounce right back. But now it's just, like, all the financial burden is on me. I go to work, I'm gone for 12 hours. I don't know what he's doing. 12 hours, I leave at 5:45, I get home at 6. For 12 hours?
Yeah,
He says he goes on
around the
runs,
clock.
but he's gained 20 pounds at least since we've been together. Like, supposedly he goes running or goes to the gym, but I don't see where.
Mr. Rice, why don't you tell me, you're having difficulty in your area? Is the job market tight? What's going on?
It's a little tight right now, specifically the profession that I'm in. However, you know,
What do you do?
I'm a recruiter, actually, more specifically for the technical field.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been on interviews, phone interviews, face-to-face interviews. I just haven't gotten any calls back.
In the meantime, have you thought about just getting a regular gig so you can just bring some money in the house?
Yes, I have. I definitely have tried to pick up a couple security jobs, so on and so forth. However, I don't know what's going on. I do the best I can. Maybe,
Oh, I know what's going on.
Maybe it's,
and so does she.
Maybe it's the stress. It's the stress from her always accusing me. It's maybe throwing off my energy.
The stress of her accusing you of cheating is throwing off your energy. Consequently, you cannot perform in a job interview sufficiently to get a security job. Is this what you're telling me?
Well, if my phone is always blowing up in the interviews and stuff like that, I can't keep a clear, level head to answer the questions precisely. So sometimes I just, need a clear head from the night before. I don't need to be arguing the night before. I need to get a good night's rest, good breakfast, go in there with a good presentation.
You're gonna need a rope to pull yourself out of the hole you're digging for yourself today. Ms. Monroy, why are you upset about his weight, and has that affected your union in any way?
Well, first of all, he is lazy. I come home, and at least you could cook or clean or something. Like, we initially said before we moved in together, like, I said, I like to cook. I'll cook every day, but we're both working. So it's different, like maybe you could pick up, my daughter on the way home, and then I'll be cooking. Not, I'm out working all day, you're at home doing nothing, and then I come home, cook, clean. I have to clean before I cook because I can't cook in a dirty kitchen.
I do all of that, Your Honor.
No, he doesn't.
It's an exaggeration.
He's lying.
It might not be as much as she would like. However,
Never
I do all
is
of that.
not as much as anybody would like.
How often do you cook and clean? I mean, is this a once a week kind of thing?
He cooks for himself.
Oddly, right around once or twice a week, depending on the situation.
Now, how do you live comfortably like that? You got a woman doing a job, she's gone all day long, and she comes home, you're sitting on the couch, no food. How does that not bother you?
Well, I'm not just sitting at home on the couch, no food. I run.
Well, you obviously eating some food because you've gained 20 pounds. Do you have any food for her?
Well,
he has never cooked me a meal, ever.
as far as the 20
ever.
pounds I gained, that's just from, I would say, from age. We had like some.
How old are you?
I'm 29. I have some before and after pictures. You can clearly see that, I was a little slimmer back then.
A lot slimmer.
But you say the weight is from age.
I would say definitely.
You talking to a woman who's 57 years old.
You look very nice as
I've been through a few.
Very nice. I just hope that I can look as good as you at that age as well.
Listen, Mr. Rice, let me tell you something. You may have game where you come from, but your game is not good in here.
Oh, no game.
It is
no game.
slow, and it's low, and it's not getting you anywhere at all. Ms. Monroy, why do you want a ring from a guy who's not working, who wants to have a kid first before marriage, and can't tell the truth to save his life? Ms. Monroy, you say that, and I'm not sure what causing it. Is it the weight gain or his lack of employment? But the sex at your house is no longer what it used to be. Why don't you tell me what the issues are?
When we first met, we used to have sex like 2-3 times a day, every day, all the time. It was great. I didn't have to do much to get him in the mood. It was like I would just exist, and he would just take it down, and it was great. Fire. And now it's like I have to practically beg him. He pushes me away. He tells me he's not in the mood. It's too hot. Whatever. Like, he always has excuses, but then runs off and
Hang on, I'm gonna get to
gets
you.
it elsewhere. So it's like,
Now, Mr. Rice, your response to that is what?
It's just, it's hard for me to partake in that kind of activity if she's always putting me down, calling me lazy, calling me fat. It changes my mindset. So when I get in the mood and I'm into, the kind of foreplay type stuff, touchy, kissy, feely, huggy, that kind of stuff. And then, and then, you know, once we kind of start going, like for instance, one time we were kind of in the moment, and all of a sudden she's like, "Are you going to turn the lights off?" And I'm like, "Turn the lights off for what? You know, everything's good. You know, lights on, lights off. It doesn't matter. You know." It appeared to me that, you know, she was referring to how I looked without with the lights on. So that's demoralizing to me. That's verbally abusive.
Ms. Monroy,
It's not that bad.
why do you want a ring from a guy who's not working, who wants to have a kid first before marriage, and can't tell the truth to save his life?
Well, as far as like with the lying and whatever, it's like I love him very much, and I can honestly say I've blossomed so much as a woman and as an individual since I've met him, and for that I'll forever be grateful, with or without him in my future. He had a job when we met. He's maintained a job. It's just this last hump, it's getting rough. It's getting so hard, and it's like just that on top of like everything else. It's like if you're not going to work,
do you think he's raised this child issue in order to keep from marrying you? Do you think that's a possibility that, oh, you want to get married, I want to have a kid first, and he knows you don't want to do that, so he never quite gets to the altar?
I wouldn't go so far as to say that. I mean, in the beginning, we knew we want to live together, we want to be married, we want to have kids. The order wasn't really an issue. And I don't have a doubt that if we did have a kid together that we wouldn't get married after. I just, for my own personal security and for me to feel better and be more confident in the relationship, in the building of a family, I would like to do the marriage first.
I got you.
Selfish.
I got a
Selfish.
few things I need to tell you. Mr. Rice, do you love her?
Yes, I do. Very much so.
What would you be willing to do in order to keep her?
I mean, and I'm willing to do any and everything to make this work, you know, for the sake of I'm trying to get a job, I'm trying to better myself as a person, keep myself in shape, as well as, you know, try to compromise. And
Well, what have you compromised on?
well, I'm just, first of all, working out more, applying more, as well as just leaving my phone down on the table, just a little stuff like that. I'm not against marriage. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for marriage. However, I don't think we're ready to get married if she has these insecurities. So bringing a child into an unstable environment is just as irresponsible. So I don't want to go that route. I'm just looking out for the future child. So
I'm going to do my best bounce lecture and ask you to exit stage left. Ms. Monroe, do you see all the compromises that you're making for him? He doesn't cook for you when you're working. He doesn't clean. He doesn't do anything. And he has a lot of excuses and a lot of beautiful words, but your response to his cheating is, I'm going to fix myself so I can get over it. Do you see that? Do you see where all the compromises is coming from your end of the table and none from his? You with me on that?
Yeah, I am.
Look, I mean, just put out a piece of paper. Look, what I'm doing. What he's doing, what I'm doing, what he's doing. It never gets better after marriage. The audition is already over. You with me?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Rice, do better. This matter is adjourned.
After hearing what the judge said, I still want to spend the rest of my life with him. Right now, there are a lot of changes that definitely need to take place, a lot of improvement, but I know he's capable of it.